In this video, we'll discuss the most commonly used ad type on Facebook, and those will be the single image ads. Even though they are the most commonly used format, they are not the most profitable, but can be. So depending on your situation, single image ads can be the most profitable format for you, and you should definitely be trying them out. Those are the ones that everyone knows, but it's not very clear why they are good. So let's take a look at some of the features that a good single image ad needs to have in order to be successful on Facebook. First of all is the visual. The main point of any Facebook ad is to capture the user's attention. As we mentioned before, the AIDA formula is very, very much applicable to every single ad on Facebook. And therefore, your visual is the most important part of the single image ads, the image itself. And it should grab the user's attention with the image or the background. Now, there are several ways in which you can do that. First of all, you can have a good, just very interesting image of something that people have not seen before that could capture their attention. Second is to use contrast. So some people focus on using highly contrasting images to capture attention. This is also something that you can test which background colors capture the most attention in your audience. And another thing that people do to capture attention on Facebook is to use people. Happy people, predominantly women, is just what works on Facebook. So you start there. You don't have to always use an image. It could be a very cool design like we use a lot of the time. And that's just one example. Now, the second most important thing is that your message should spark their interest, and it should be relevant to the audience that you are advertising it to, right? So if you show, let's say that you are advertising something that's for software engineers, right? If you put code in the image, that will be relevant to them and it could capture their attention. But if someone who is not a developer looks at this, they will just pass it by. So think about what are those things that would capture the attention of your particular audience. This is kind of very, very important because apart from capturing the initial attention, your message also needs to be very relevant to your audience. Now then, the next point is that you want to entice desire by presenting your value proposition, and you want to have a call to action which is very, very clear and very obvious. So when people click that ad, you want them to know what happened. You want to set the right expectations. And then on the landing page, you have to make sure to follow up on your ad promise with your landing page. This is actually the most common mistake because people don't kind of synchronize what happens between the ad and the landing page, and they often create various types of different creatives, and not all of them are relevant to the landing page. So most of them are relevant to the users and they capture their attention, but when the user opens up the landing page, they don't see exactly what has been advertised on the ad. And that's why generally it's a good practice to create several different landing pages for your creatives as well, if you can. It's not always viable or possible. And then a good image ad always, or pretty much always, contains your logo and branding to build brand awareness. You can do all of these six things at the same time. And then when you create your ad, you should always maybe leave it a day, let it rest, and perform a make sense check after you've thought about it. Because generally what happens is we marketers try to put too much marketing in every ad. We overthink stuff, and this is really one of the most common mistakes that we do. We overthink stuff. We think from our perspective. Or think from a certain customer's perspective, and this makes our ad not very relevant, and it doesn't really make sense when you take a look after it. Take a look at it after the fact, after it has been created. So to show you an example, this is an image that we used for one of our ads, and so we are going to perform the Facebook ad check for it. So the way this works is, first of all, is it social stopping, right? Would it be relevant to the audience, and would it stop someone who is from our target audience? In this case, the target audience is marketers, and this is Facebook campaign results for millions of dollars, or at least more than $1 million, which is great. So that's supposed to stop them. This is kind of the social stopping visual, the campaign of the results of the campaign. Does it have a clear value proposition? The value proposition is learn how to get real results, right? They see Facebook campaign results and they want to learn how to get campaign results like that. Yes. Is it relevant to the audience? Yes, the audience is marketer. Does it have a clear call to action? It does. The value proposition and the call to action in this ad are combined. Does it build brand awareness? Yes, it has our logo, it uses our branding, and it has it's very kind of branded. The ad copy enhances the visual. In this case, we don't have the ad copy here, but the ad copy would be something like check out our new Facebook marketing course to learn how we achieve these results. And then the call to action button is adequate. In this case, the call to action button for that specific ad should be learn more or sign up now. Then the ad leads to the goal. That's kind of the next important check. What this means is that this ad is kind of a stepping stone towards the final goal. The final goal in this case would be selling our Facebook course, this very course that you're watching right now. So we would have a separate landing page for the course, and then we would sell it. And then the next one is the corresponds to the landing page. So what would happen if we send people from this ad to the general Masters Academy page, like to the Masters Academy landing page that you guys have seen so far? Well, it will not correspond to that message. So in order for this ad to work, we need to make a separate landing page specifically for the Facebook course, sell it individually, and then upsell the other courses from the Academy. That's the only way this ad will work, because if we just create an ad like that and send people to the landing page, they will see 10 courses and not a Facebook course. They will see an entire academy, and maybe they're just interested in the Facebook results and not anything else, and they don't want to pay for the entire academy. They don't want to learn all of the things. They just want to learn the Facebook course. And so the way for us to react to that would be to create a landing page for the Facebook course itself, and then when people see that there's a lot more to learn, then we can upsell them the rest of the courses, right? But at the time that we ran this ad, it was going to the Masters Academy landing page, and guess what? It wasn't very good in terms of return on ad spend. It was actually one of the better ones because people are really interested in this, but we also ran it before creating this course, so the course wasn't out, and of course that campaign was not successful. And that's because your value proposition and what you are promising in the ad, remember, make sure to follow up on your ad promise. At the time that we ran this ad, we ran it with the purpose of discovering what's interesting for people, not with the purpose of actually converting or making money. We hoped, but we knew that it wasn't really going to work. And then Once the ad corresponds to the landing page, we perform a makes sense check, right? Very, very useful. Now, there are some specifics about single image ads that you need to be aware of. Right, so first of all, there's 3 formats of single image ads. Most people don't know that, and they either create a square ad or a 1.91 to 1, which is actually also 4 to 5 ratio. And people rarely put all of the 3 formats in Facebook ads. They just upload one image, but that one image does not allow you to advertise on all the available placements. And if you use automatic placements, then maybe you will not get very good results. Now, next, it's important for you to know that Facebook actually has a partnership, a very early partnership with Shutterstock. So you can use all of the Shutterstock images when creating Facebook ads. In case you don't have professional photography or you don't have professional designers at your disposal, you can use some of the Shutterstock images and overlay text on top of them. That's something that a lot of people do. Now, single image ads actually work best when you have a small ask, when you can present your entire value proposition and people can very quickly make the decision. Usually that's something that's under $50, under $100 in some countries, and it's generally best for impulsive, low risk purchases. I will show you an example where that the value could be $200, but it's still a impulsive, low risk purchase, and that's why an image ad works. Now, it's kind of the least, this format has the least drop-off and is the least involved. In order for you to understand what I mean here, we have to kind of talk about it for a second. So first of all, you have the 4 main formats. That would be your image ads, slideshows and carousels, which we'll discuss next, and then video ads. So you can use an image if you can tell all of these things that we talked about in the previous slide in one image, just like I showed you before, right? Just like in this image, where you can cover, like you have your visual, it's relevant, and you present your value proposition, you have a call to action, and you also build brand awareness. These factors can definitely be done with one image. And in case you have to compare single image ads to videos, videos have the most drop off. And that's because people need to watch the entire video to understand your value proposition and to understand your offer. But most people are not going to watch the entire video, and therefore that drop off becomes a thing. With images, they just take a glance at the image and immediately understand the value proposition, the product, and the call to action. And then if they like it, they click on it. And if they click on it, they're interested, they took action. And generally, you're going to have a very reasonable conversion rate if your ask is small and if the purchase can be done impulsively. And just to kind of provide you with a relevant example, very early when we just started the academy, we were selling the biggest early bird offer was selling the entire academy for $100. At this point, single image ad worked and they had a positive return on investment. But then when we increased the price, they immediately stopped working because now this is no longer a low risk purchase. It's no longer something that will that can be done as an impulsive purchase. So by increasing the price, we increase the risk for the customers. They are interested, they come to the website, but then that risk gets them to the consideration phase, and then we need to respond with some additional information to be able to make the sale. So this is what I mean by image ads being the least involved. and the least and having the least drop off, as compared to videos that have a higher drop off. But for example, if you're selling something that's more expensive, you need to provide more information about it. Maybe you need to show some features, you need to show the outcomes of it, you need to show the benefits of the product, and that might take a little bit more time. But then because it's a more expensive thing, video would make sense. But in the other case, single image ads work best. Generally, the way they're done is you have a visual and you overlay text over your visual, and then you focus on contrast to make your ads kind of pop. Another thing that I want to show you is this Facebook ads guide. You can go here to this link and you can go to get the image ad specs. And here you will find all the image ad specs that you need to know about when creating single image ads. Right, so now let's just quickly create a new single image ad. We will say that this ad is focusing on conversions, and we won't bother with the campaigns and all that. We'll just create a name template. And so for example, this will be our Masters Academy campaign. The offer will be a free, the offer will be the Facebook course. The copy will be Facebook course 1. Facebook course 1. This will be just our identifier for this specific copy that we are going to write, and our creative will be the results image, right? So in this way we can immediately identify what ad this is. This is first keeping our naming conventions. So we are not going to use an existing post or a Creative Hub mockup. We will create the ad ourselves. So we go here and select single image or video, and then we won't be adding any instant experiences. This ad will be sending people to our Facebook course eventually, and so we need to add some media. So let's quickly upload that creative. Let's just find it. Where is it? Let me quickly find it. Sorry guys, can't find my own image. We'll cut that part. All right, here it is. We found it, and now we can upload it. But as you can see, we have that image prepared, and it's done only in a square format. So in case we use the horizontal and vertical formats, that would not work. And as you can see, we can use the vertical format 9:16, this one, for stories, apps, and sites. And we can't use it right now because we don't have a vertical image. If we want to use it, we need to crop our image, but there's no way for us to crop that in a good way. We need to at least move the logo and kind of make a special version of it to be able to do that. So that's kind of one of the ways in which your designers will provide you with the images, and then you will not be able to use all of the ad formats. And the same goes for the horizontal format, right? If we crop it with the logo, then we're not going to have the call to action. If we crop the call to action, we're not going to have a thing that makes sense. Maybe we can crop only the results, but then we're going to lose the branding and the call to action. So we need these images to be created in the right format in the first place. So in order for us to do that, I will show you a good example of ads that actually work for this. So let's just quickly jump to those. All right, so here we go. We are going to change this image and we will upload the proper images for that. So let's go to our social media marketing course, and here we have the correct images. So first we'll upload this one, and this will be an image that's for a free trial. And as you can see, we have the same problem. Then we will select the vertical version and go here to change, and we'll upload the vertical version of it. Go with next. And then we'll do the same for this one, the horizontal one. Right? Now that we have our three variants of it, we can take advantage of all the placements. That would be the stories, apps, sites, right column, search results, instant articles, feeds, and in-stream videos. And we can either disable or enable the enhancements. And this means that your ad creative can automatically adjust for each person viewing your ad. And this may include adjusting image brightness and contrast, showing your original aspect ratio if we think that it's likely to perform better, and so on. So I generally recommend, if you have great designers, to turn off the enhancements. And we click done. So now we can see how our ad works. Now, what we need to do, if you remember our little presentation, first of all, we need to perform these checks. So first of all, does it grab the user's attention with our image and background? And it does, right? It's a limited time offer, and it has a very high contrast. It's dark against everything that's kind of light on Facebook. And so it can be start learning for free. Now, a potential problem that can happen is that, for example, some people actually use the dark version of Facebook, and so it might kind of blend in with the Facebook dark version. Now, that's one thing that maybe we should consider, using a colorful background and doing something else. Just one thing that we need to mention. Now, relevant. Does it spark their interest with a message or creative that's relevant to them? So we are looking at marketers. This will obviously be for people who are just now getting interested in marketing but don't work in marketing. So that would be the newbie marketers. And then we want to offer them to start learning marketing for free with a free trial. So yes, it does. Call to action is again a combination of the value proposition and the call to action are kind of combined in one. This is actually an approach that we end up using quite commonly because of the 20% text rule that Facebook used to have. But now this Facebook rule is no longer true, so they decided to remove it. They still advise you to use less text in your ads, but now it's no longer a requirement, and your ads are not going to be disapproved because of that reason. Now then, the call to action is clear, and our landing page will follow up on our ad promise, because when people go to mastersacademy.com, they will see immediately a free 3-day trial period, and the button here says try for free. So it does follow up on our promise, and it does contain our branding, builds brand awareness, and then we finally can take a look to see if it makes sense, and it does. Now, additional things is, first of all, we need to fix our ad copy. So let's write some ad copy for this and kind of try to enhance the visual that we are presenting over here. So first of all, in the ad text, they don't really know what exactly they're going to learn. So if we go to a landing page, we can maybe use this for our primary text. We're not going to focus too much on making that ad very, very great. So we will add that as our primary text. It will pop up over here on top. Then for our headline, we need to decide what we are going to do. So generally what's recommended for these ads and pretty much for all ads is to use Emojipedia. Right, Emojipedia. And in Emojipedia, you can find different kinds of emojis that can enhance your ad. So in this case, let's copy this fire icon over here, fire emoji, and then we can maybe do something like this. Right, we'll say that it's a limited time offer, and that the fires are going to help us grab attention with our text. So we tend to see that these emojis help ads perform better. One of the great ones is the check mark. So these check marks are something that we use quite a lot. For example, if we are going to be listing features. So for example, we could make a list of these things and say maybe something like learn the most important digital marketing topics, and then maybe we could do something like that, you know, digital business planning, and then maybe do something like marketing strategy, and then do, you know, advertising, and you get what I mean, right? And so this is a much more colorful and attention-grabbing copy that you can use to enhance your ads. This is another trick that you guys can employ. And maybe do it like that. Right. another good advice for general Facebook ads copywriting is to include links in your description. So now we need to move on to our headline, and you always, by the way, have to consider how the ad looks on mobile. So this approach that we took, we added these fire things and these chicks over here, and that might help our ad, but it also might hide a bunch of the text. So people will need to click the see more button for them to be able to read the entire copy. So if generally it's a good idea if you can keep it up to 20 words and kind of keep it short and so that it fits over here. If you can explain everything over here, it's a good idea. Now then we'll move on to the headline. Or maybe do a free 3-day trial. And then for the description, we can say just give it some kind of a description and say Masters Academy offers the most advanced digital marketing courses online, right? Or at least that's what we want to do, but we'll see. Great. Now, I want to tell you some important other things that you need to know when creating single image ads. First of all, you can test your copy by adding other options over here. So if I click this button over here, I can add another version of the primary text. So what you can do is effectively A/B test what is going to be the difference between the two versions of the copy, one without the emojis and one with the emojis. Make sure you don't have spelling mistakes. And maybe do it like that. Right, so that's another thing that you need to know about the single image ads. And then when you create your website URL, what you want to do is you want to follow the same naming convention that you have over here. So what you want to do is you want to go to the Google Analytics URL builder and find the campaign URL builder over here. Then you want to copy your URL. We will leave the campaign source as Facebook, Medium, and then we'll give this campaign a name. We'll call it Masters Academy, and then the content will need to be consistent with our naming over here. That would be the FBC one with the results creative, right? So we can do something like this. We can use this to generally identify targeting. So this will be our ad sets. Let's call the ad set newbies. Or maybe not newbies, but let's say YM. We'll call it young marketers. We don't want people to know that we think of them as newbies, because sometimes this actually pops up in the URL field of the customers. And then your campaign content, in this case, will be FBC1 results. Or we changed it, right? So this is actually, sorry guys, this is for free trial. Let's call it free trial 1. So this is from Masters Academy campaign, YouTube, and then Young Marketers, and then campaign content is free trial 1. Then we're going to copy this URL and put it over here. Right? We always want to tag our URLs, every single one, so that we can later take a look at them in Google Analytics and make sure that we have our ducks in a row. Now, since we are using this URL at the moment, it's a good idea to be consistent. So we will use that URL over here as well. Then our display link will be this one. Sometimes this is too long and maybe it won't be very clear. And then the best call to action for us would be either to sign up or to learn more. And we can, of course, test both. But again, test one thing at a time. Now, we don't have any other options like this. Our Facebook pixel is set up, and now this campaign is ready. So what you want to do then first is you want to compare that ad to the other ad formats that we are going to be learning later on. So we'll save that for now as a draft. And finally, I want to end up with something that's very important. In general, when you start creating your cold audiences and when you first start your campaigns on Facebook, you really want to test which ad format works best for your industry, your niche, and your audience, because different formats work different for different industries, for different products, and for different audiences. So, and also kind of different people respond in a different way to the different formats. So generally, one of the first things that you want to test is which is your best advertising format. Now, that also kind of means that you need to have a well-done creatives, but that's not really a problem. You will be developing those over time. So that's pretty much everything that you need to know about creating single image ads. And in the next video, we'll move on to carousels and slideshows.